Now that I am no longer a teacher, thank God, I can finally say the things that have been on my mind all school year. Okay? As somebody that taught high school and
Wow, she taught high school. This woman looks like she's fresh out of high school. I would have thought that she would be teaching more like pre-K, kindergarten, first grade, not high school, because she looked like she fit right in. Mm.
basically educating our new young adults, we should all be scared. Every last one of us should be scared. These kids cannot read, they cannot
Hmm.
write. There is no type of comprehension skills, no type of critical thinking. They cannot do anything on their own. They expect everything to be taught to them. Well, I won't even say taught. They expect everything to be given to them. So, in my class, we did this thing where I made them write once a week. So, they would have some type of assignment where they would have to write at least a paragraph, meaning 5 sentences. 5 sentences. The amount of assignments that I got in with 1 sentence, 2 sentences, the amount of complaints I got where with the whole 5 sentences, that's too much, that's too much. Can we do three? Can we do three? Isn't three considered a paragraph? Oh, baby. We are in for a wild ride, y'all.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree. And this really isn't the child's fault. It's more of the parents' fault because nowadays it seems like the bar has just gone down. Like, and parents are only looking at school as basically a daycare for the children so they can get them out the house so they can go to work. And that's really what school is nowadays. It's really sad. Parents don't have the same interest in their kids' education like they did when I was growing up back in the 90s and early 2000s. It's not the same anymore. Everyone's too focused on their phone.
Every assignment that I gave them, I kid y'all not, I kid y'all not, every assignment that I gave them, there was a student that came to, several students that came to my desk and made me walk, asked me to walk them through the entire assignment, the full, whole thing. But genuinely, the truth of the matter is, everybody is failing these kids. Everybody. The school board, with all these different rules, they're failing these kids. The principals or admin altogether, they're failing these kids, and they're failing the teachers because they're basically telling us that we had to just pass a child along just to keep these graduation numbers up.
Ooh, that is a fact right there. That's a fact. Because I'm just going to be completely honest with you guys. When I graduated high school, I almost didn't graduate because my guidance counselor failed to realize that I didn't have an English course in my 12th year or my 12th grade. No English course. So, in order for me to get that English course, they made me write a 250-word essay about some book. I bullshitted. They wrote like 100 words and they passed me. These people don't give a damn anymore.
So everybody, like everybody. Oh, and don't get me started on the parents. Like, I would call and say, hey, your child is failing. And the first thing is, well, why didn't I know about this? Probably because you didn't answer the phone. Probably because you didn't get or you didn't respond to my emails. On top of that, you have 24-hour access to Power School. When I tell y'all it is horrible, like the parents that are here now are not the parents that we had growing up. My
That is very true. And the thing about, she said about Power School, I grew up in New York City. New York City did not have Power School. So in order to see your test grades, you had to wait until your report card came out. That's the time you found out where you got the belt or you got a gift.
parents check my Power School weekly. Weekly. And still to this day, my brother just graduated high school a few weeks ago, and still to this day, his grades were checked. Everybody's grades were checked. So unfortunately, it's not these kids' faults. I mean, yeah, they're lazy, but like, what are you supposed to do when all you got to do is tell your mama, well, she failing me, and the school board is going to accommodate that parent? Like, it's crazy, y'all. We should be very scared for our new nurses, our new doctors, our new everybody. These colleges are going to have to start lowering their requirements. They're going to have to start lowering the fact, or just lowering everything, because the way that stuff is going now, the amount of kids that are going to come into these schools and they cannot read, they cannot write, they cannot do anything without AI. We should be scared.
Yeah, and at this point, the way AI is going, we probably don't even need school. Not at all. Only thing we need school for is to learn how to use the AI. That's how bad it's gotten. Like, people have forgotten the most basic tasks, most basic forms of thinking. It's getting really bad out here. At least for my children, I have Power School, so I can check whatever they're doing. My son does not have a phone. I don't even know why I see kids in his grade that are walking around with iPhones. I'm like, he's 6 years old, and these kids have phones. Like, it makes no freaking sense the way things are going right now.
I want you to send this video to anybody who can't understand why teachers are crashing out and quitting. I mean, they get their summers off, so like, what do they really have to complain about? I have brought visual aids. Here we go.
Okay, but like
So
visual
everything I
aids.
show you on this green clipboard is going to represent when I started teaching in 2005, and everything on this red clipboard is 2025. I did not teach the full 20 years. I took 7 years off because I had children and my husband's in the military. We moved a lot. Here we go. These are actual seating charts that I found as I was cleaning out my desk today. So this represents the year 2005, and this is how many of my students are reading on grade level. Everything in blue. So 1.5 students out of like a group are struggling readers, but
Okay.
pretty much everybody's reading at least on level, some even higher, okay? 2025. How many of my students are reading on grade level?
That's damn near half the class.
Okay, this next is an average of how many of my students failed my class. Like, they are going to have to repeat this. There's no recovering. They failed. This is 2005. 0.5 student out of all of my students. This is this year.
Oh my God.
This is this year. On average, I teach about 100 students. On average, this is how many students in each class are not passing. They're going to have to take this class again. Okay, next, the orange represents in 2005 parent involvement. I always had parents either in my inbox asking about lessons, volunteering for field trips, or anything that we needed for our classroom, volunteering supplies. 2005, 2025. Where are the parents that are supposed to be involved in their school?
Like I said, these parents don't care anymore. This is just daycare. This is unpaid daycare. That's all school is today.
Behavior issues. Students in 2005 that I had to like write up on referrals, call.
I already know this one is going to be lit up because the amount of people my son has went to school with last year that had like serious behavioral issues, and they didn't rectify it until the end of the school year is insane. It really is insane.
Maybe have parent-teacher conferences for poor behavior. Out of a whole classroom, there was always like at least one bad apple, okay? 2025.
Yeah, about half the
Put your cell phone away. Why are you showing up to my class 15 minutes late? Don't talk to me like that. Don't call them the N-word.
Okay, so maybe she add a little more context because I was trying to think like what grade she teaches. She might be teaching middle school and up. I say most likely like high school she's teaching, because these kids in high school are extremely vicious now. They are monsters. I had a neighbor who used to work in the school system. She was a security guard. She was trying to break up a fight, and one of the kids had knocked her over and put her in the hospital. And she's not a small woman. She's not like big, but she's she had to retire after that because these kids are vicious. Like, they strong. Like, these high school kids, they strong. Especially ones that be on like a football or track team. Nah, you can't mess with them kids. I was on the track team. I was kind of strong myself, but yeah, these adults don't stand a chance against these monsters. Especially when their parents don't care. It's game over.
You know, if there's anything that being a teacher has taught me, it's analyzing data and trends. And I just don't like the current trends. So that is why you are seeing teachers leaving like in a mass exodus, just in droves, exiting the classroom this year. And everybody wants to blame COVID. That's a small part of it. Most of it has to do with parenting, screen time. You put a cell phone in the hands of a small child and just give them unfettered access to the internet. Do you think they care about what's going on in my class? Send this to anybody out there who's like, teachers are indoctrinating our kids. Ma'am, your kid has TikTok. They have Instagram, which has a much greater influence than my geography class.
Parent involvement. Parent involvement is very, very important. And it seems like this generation of parents don't care anymore. They don't care. And it's terrible. They're going to suffer for it, but it's terrible. And the biggest problem seems to be these phones. Because kids think they can use the phones whenever they want to. And when the teacher tells them to put their phone away, it's a problem. You got kids that are getting their phones taken away and they're fighting these teachers. They're literally putting their hands on these teachers over a phone that they're not even supposed to have in school in the first place. And these parents don't do anything about it. When I was growing up, I didn't get a phone until I was in like 10th grade. I didn't even have a smartphone. We had like a little slide up Samsung phone, not a Sidekick, just the red one that slid straight up like this. That's all I had.
I have been a teacher for 6 years and I'm about to leave the profession, and here are 3 reasons why. The first reason is that if your administration is terrible, you are most likely going to have a terrible time dealing with parents and dealing with your students. And in my 6 years, I have had 4 administrators and at 2 different schools, and they have all been subpar. So it's been extremely rough. The second reason is the students literally don't care about anything. You can tell them, don't do that. They'll do it anyway. You can tell them, please do your homework. They don't want to do their homework. You can threaten to email their parents. They don't care. Most of their parents don't care either if you email them. So it's extremely hard to get anything done when you cannot motivate your students in any way. And I have tried everything. The third reason is that your work is never done as a teacher. I work 7:30 to 3:30, and then I stay after and grade some days. Some days I bring it home with me. Some days I grade all throughout the day on my breaks. It is never done. There is always grading and or planning to do, and you get little to no support for that. There are some moments that I like as a teacher. There are some moments that I have loved as a teacher in my 6 years, but for the most part, I have been miserable, and that really sucks because teaching is all I've ever wanted to do.
Yeah, if I was these people, if I was a teacher, I would definitely not want to work in the school system. What I would do is what most people did. I think Miss Rachel did the same thing. Instead of teaching in a school, teach online and have people pay for it. These teachers are making a whole bunch of money teaching online from the safety of their home, right behind a camera. And if you want to learn something, pay for them. The lessons are already uploaded. So they only have to make the lesson once, put it up, people pay for it, and they make money from it. Like, it's too dangerous out here. These parents don't give a damn about what their kids are doing in these schools at all. These administrators don't care about what these kids are learning at all, or how the teachers are teaching at all. Because I had a huge problem with like understanding my teachers when I was in high school because they was like African. I can't understand this shit. But it's like they hire anybody. And my parents could not understand why I was failing certain classes until they went to parent-teacher conference and actually spoke to my teacher and realized they couldn't understand him either. But as a society, we are really doomed because these schools are just absolutely terrible for these children. And these parents are, sad to say, terrible for these children. It doesn't matter how much money you want to throw at a school. You can't keep throwing money at a problem. That's not a money problem because the worst schools in this country actually get the most funding. They get way more funding than schools that are, operating at an extraordinary level. They don't get as much funding as the bad schools, and yet they're still failing. So this is not a money problem. This is a parenting problem. This is an administrative problem. This is a child problem. And this is a technology problem because these phones are just rotting these children's brains. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section below. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and see y'all next time.